Today, I'm going to give you 3 tricks to make chord changes easier for any song, but there's a catch. These aren't really tricks. They're exercises that are so effective they feel like tricks because they work so fast. The third trick is so simple, 7 out of 10 of my students can apply it right away to songs immediately after I explain it. My name is Jake, and I've taught hundreds of older guitar players who are just starting, struggling to make progress, or finally getting back into guitar after taking a long break. All right, let's get into the first trick, which is using anchor fingers. When you switch between 2 chords, there's a good chance there's going to be a finger that can stay in place between the chords. Let's use an example. If I'm playing an E minor chord, and I use my first and second finger to fret the 5th and the 4th strings, I can leave my middle finger down if I were to change to a C chord. That is an anchor finger. Even as I'm lifting up, I can leave one finger in place to help me find that next chord. Similarly, if I'm going from an E minor chord to a G, I can use my index finger as an anchor. I can leave it on 2nd fret of the 5th string because it works there for both the E minor chord and the G. This makes changing chords a lot simpler. We always want to be on the lookout for these anchor fingers. And I bet you'll be surprised, in the beginning, we tend to want to lift all our fingers up because we haven't developed the control to start leaving them in place, even though it makes the chord changes easier and smoother. But sometimes you're not going to have a finger that you can leave down. You won't have a common note between your chords. What do we do then? Well, then we go on to trick number 2, and we use a target finger. A target finger is simply picking one of your fingers to set down first before you play the rest of the chord to help you line up where your other fingers will go. Let's try it in action. If I'm going from a C chord to a G chord, I could use my index or my pointer finger as a target. Let me show you how. I'll strum the C chord, I'll lift up my fingers, and before I do anything else, I'll get my first finger in place and then fill in the rest of the G chord. I can keep that target finger, setting my first finger on 1st fret of the 2nd string down before I fill in the rest of the C chord. This simplifies the chord change for our brain. Instead of thinking about where every finger has to end up, it just has to land one in the right place. Let's try using a different target finger for the same chord progression. If you're using a target finger for a particular chord change, like our C to G, but that chord change still feels slow, what you can do is change the target finger, giving a new finger preferential treatment in your brain. I could do the 3rd finger for my C to G transition. So starting on my C chord, I could land my 3rd finger on the thinnest string and then fill in my G chord, and then land my 3rd finger on the 5th string for my C chord, and then back and forth. Eventually, once I cycle through all the possible fingers as target fingers, my brain will be much more confident with where each finger ends up on that chord change. In just a sec, I'm going to give you that 3rd trick, the one that you can apply immediately to songs to make your chord changes sound cleaner. But first, I want to invite you to join me in my free course and community at school.com/guitar, where we go over all sorts of tricks like this: strumming, chord transitions, licks, and playing songs. Also, there's over 1,400 guitar players in there, making music, sharing their wins, and encouraging each other. It is an awesome time. And again, it's free at school.com/guitar. And now it's time for the 3rd and ultimate easy trick for smooth chord changes as you play guitar. And the trick is changing chords early. I know that sounds crazy, but let me explain exactly how it works and make your chord changes sound smooth. When you're playing a chord change with a strumming pattern and you change from, let's say, C to G, like we were practicing a second ago, if I miss beat 1, it's very obvious. Right? You can see that it was awkward and that I didn't hit what I was trying to. But if I mess up right before beat 1, but I get the first part of the new chord right, it sounds a lot more smooth. The flow, the groove of the song stays intact. When we land on each chord change, that beat one with confidence, no one around the campfire is going to be any the wiser that that chord change was a little tricky for us. In fact, even as we become more and more advanced guitar players, we're likely to change chords just a little bit early. I encourage you to go back and listen to some of your favorite acoustic guitar albums, strumming songs, and listen, and you'll hear open strings ring right before beat one. It's actually the sound of guitar strumming. So if instead of trying to snap to the next chord, we stay a little more relaxed, leave a little bit early, and make sure each chord gets strummed correctly on beat one, we're going to be much more locked in, have smoother chord changes that are easier to play. Now, if you're ready to start applying this to songs and need something to play, the first and third song in this video are perfect for practicing this technique.